Okay, everyone, we're back on the door project here again. Today, for those of you who didn't see the last video, well, there's pretty much nothing underneath the front door holding it up here. In fact, I think the only thing holding it on is probably the sides. It's screwed in from the sides, everyone. If I had to guess, that's about all that was holding up. They put a new board under them, but there was nothing underneath the supports for the new board, pretty much. So, anyway, yeah, the whole bottom side was rotted out. We definitely had some insects in there. Again, I don't know if it was termites or ants, either one. Definitely chewed away the majority of the wood there and kind of up around the door a little bit. They had metal flashing, everyone, kind of going up along the sides there. Same thing on this side and along the bottom. And pretty much wherever that metal flashing was, everyone, that's where the ants, termites, whatever it was, just disintegrated the wood. And again, we had this front porch right up against it with the concrete and the sand. Just, yeah, it wasn't a good design, I guess, everyone, or something wasn't right here, that's for sure. So first things first, we're going to get the door taken out, figure out what's behind there. This door needed to be fixed anyway, but it was not installed correctly. So it's not like a real major loss, because like I said, it had to be reinstalled or fixed up at some point. It does not close properly, it doesn't lock properly. There's just, yeah, whoever did it, they did not put any, and I can't think of the names of them now all of a sudden, shims. They did not put any shims on the door when they screwed it in, so it just pulls and warps the frame, and absolute mess, an absolute mess. So we're gonna get that taken out. Also, while we're starting the video, I might as well mention too what else we need to do here is we need to build this out another 3/4 of an inch roughly, everyone. A couple of ways I could have done this. We could take the rest of the siding off, everyone, pull all the old wood siding off, and then we're back to that. That probably, to be honest, would be maybe like the best option, but I don't know about you folks. I don't feel like taking all that siding off and then take all the wood siding off behind it. So we're just gonna build it up another 3/4 of an inch and do our best to make sure we get it good and waterproof. We're also gonna put a metal pan underneath this door here as well. Cousin and uncle, they're both builders, told me to do that, so we're gonna make sure we do that here as well. And then they said ice and water one. However, I did not feel like buying a whole roll of ice and water. I don't know if I can find it at the moment. I don't see it. I bought a roll of deck flash. I think it's 12 or 18 inches wide, something like that. I'm gonna put that down there instead. It's a lot cheaper. And like I said, I didn't have to buy a whole roll. I couldn't find, like, they don't sell partial rolls. Like, I need like one strip, right? One strip would be enough, but yeah, they don't sell that. So anyway, we're gonna get this door taken out first, and then we're gonna go from there. Okay, well, there's going to be a lot of high-speed video in this video here, so I thought I'd do a little voiceover of some of these parts here. As you can see here, we're working on taking the door off, took her off the crown molding around the outside. Now I'm working on taking off a couple of the screws here that are holding the door in. And I think I mentioned this later in the video of them, but whoever installed this door, oh my goodness, everyone, like, maybe they should go watch a couple of videos on how to install doors, because this door is just like all kinds of wrong, everyone. I think I mentioned it maybe in one of my previous videos when we were working on this front entryway one. This front entryway is very, very cold in the winter, as we found out. In fact, we shut the inner door of one, put a rug in front of it, taped off. You know, we pretty much didn't even use this room. It was so flipping cold in there. And I think this door was probably a big part of it, everyone. So yeah, working on taking off. There was some extra molding. Once I had the door off, there was some extra molding on there yet too. I'm guessing that was probably from the original door of one. And by the way, I don't think the damage you're seeing, everyone, was from this door. The damage was from the previous door. That's where most of that damage, I think, came from. So most likely water was coming in either through the original door or that concrete there. I don't know, whatever it was, Evan, it definitely wasn't good. Anyway, working on putting some flashing on here. I'm going to flash all the way around the outside edge. Top, bottom, all that good stuff. And then you'll see here when we get to the next clip what I did along the bottom as well. But yeah, really looking forward to getting this door all sealed up. At the time I'm recording this, I don't quite have it all sealed up yet, but once it is, everyone, hopefully this room will be a whole lot nicer. They did not have any spray foam or insulation around the outside edge of the door, so you could literally, once we took the molding off the inside of them, the trim off the inside, you could literally see light coming in. That's how open it was, basically. And really the only thing blocking it, if you will, everyone, if you want to call it blocking, was the trim. So that was just, yeah, absolutely horrible. And here I'm prying off a couple of old boards they had along the bottom here. Looks like they just scabbed on a bunch of stuff, so I'm like, you know what, screw it, get it off. Plus it had the old caulk on it. Rather than taking the old caulk off, just take the whole board off, right? Make it easier. And here I am putting some more tar paper on everyone. So the entire house, from what I can tell, is covered in tar paper. In fact, you can see, if you look up there, you can see the little bit hanging out from underneath the old wood shingles on the side there, everyone. And I'm just putting new tar paper on. To be honest, this probably should have been under the other piece, but oh well. And then here, everyone, I'm folding it up underneath that door there. And then I'm putting a new piece down, new piece of board there. Getting that all level out as well, so it's sticking out the proper amount. Again, I'm going to be putting more wood on the outside of this house. Not that it really needs it, everyone, but I need to have something to bump out so it's the correct depth here for putting the siding back on, because we got the old wood siding. And what I ended up doing was I found a bunch of old wood in the garage here. In particular, this is, I don't know if it was a 1x14 or 1x12. Everyone, it's a big old board. Decided to try using that. And then I'm just going to pretty much try to scab on whatever wood I can find on the outside edge, everyone here. To be honest, probably not the greatest way of doing it, but I've got good wood behind it, everyone. I just not feel like spending, a couple $100 more buying more good wood, if you will. And I think if we cover this up properly, it should be fine. And you'll see what I'm going to do here in a few minutes. There we go, putting down more boards. Not even sure where this particular board came from, but I found, like I said, a couple of nice, big, wide boards here. And then inside the garage as well, I had some old siding off the garage. So that's what this green stuff is. I'm guessing at some point, this was probably the color of the garage was. It's kind of painted that, I don't know, forest, military green, whatever, I guess. And trying to figure out the flashing detail. I don't remember if I caught this in the video here or not, but what I ended up doing, I was trying to tuck the tar paper up underneath there, and then I put that other board on it. You'll see that here in just a minute. So, yep, we got it kind of tucked up underneath the old one. Put that board underneath it, and it'll lap over the top of it. That one board there didn't quite fit, so I just had to knock off a couple little high spots there. Nope, still not quite fitting yet. And then moving on to the opposite side here. At some point here, but I forget where, we had some weather that moved in as well. Trying to find a piece that'll fit in there. Like I said, at this point, I'm pretty much just doing probably what like the previous homeowner, whoever it was, did. We're just kind of scabbing on some boards here. Not probably the greatest everyone, but like I said, I didn't want to spend a couple $100 more on getting more wood for the front of the house here. And here we are putting on that deck flashing I was talking about. Again, I went to the hardware store. Per my cousin there, he said, I want to try some ice and water. And for those who don't know what ice and water is, it's very thick, adhesive. I'm not entirely sure what it's made from exactly, everyone. But you put it along the edge of roof lines and stuff like that to protect the edge of the roofs. He suggested getting a piece of that. And, in this case, I probably needed, I think this was 14 foot long, if I remember correctly here, from one end of the front entryway to the other. Or was it, maybe it might have been 12 or 14, something like that, everyone. So that's literally all I needed was like a 12 or 14 foot long piece. But I can't, again, they don't sell that. They only sell full rows. So got this deck flashing instead of, which is pretty much, I would say, almost the same thing. There's probably not much difference here between the deck flashing and ice and water. Maybe it's made of a slightly different material. I don't know. But again, it's an adhesive material. And I think it should be about the same thing there. And here you see I'm cutting it there and folding it inside the door. And don't worry, everyone. For those of you who maybe know a little bit about this, you're probably thinking, oh, wait a minute, what about the corners? Yeah, don't worry, everyone. We'll be getting to that here in just a moment. You want to make that joke again, dear?
Am I level-headed today?
Actually, looks like you are at the moment. Anyway, Evan, I think we're at the point here we're ready to start installing the door. I ran out of space here on the phone, Evan, so I missed some of this. So just to recap here real quick, Evan, in case I missed it, I went ahead and put the waterproofing down along the bottom here. I probably should have bought like one more roll to go one more layer higher, but we're, I don't know what, maybe 8 inches above the floor there. So that should be good, Evan. And then we just got the tar paper draped down above it. So 2 layers of that, and then of course waterproofed all along the door here, Evan. I was gonna put the metal flash in there, but I don't think it's really needed. Evan, we got 2 layers of the deck flashing and then the flex wrap, and yeah, I don't see a reason I'm gonna put that in there. So I think we're good. Ready to put the door in. Speaking of the door, oh my goodness, the people that installed it last time. Oh my goodness, that door was just an absolute disaster. In fact, Evan, we found the installation screws were still stapled to the top of the door yet. Wow. Yeah, wow, Evan. So, anyway, and that just, all kinds. No shims. They didn't have the hinges screwed in. It's, yeah, the door was a disaster, Evan. So anyway, we're gonna.
Like 1 screw and.
Oh yeah, then this side there was like. There 1 screw down here, 1 screw here, and I guess technically 2 screws, Evan, because you got the 2 screws going in through the bolt, but yeah, there was no screws up here. They had the top screwed in, which you don't typically screw in the top of a door. They had, I don't remember what was on this side. This side was weird too,
was,
so
like, missing every other screw, and they were all different.
Yeah, and they had like extra holes up there too, so I don't know if they like tried to put multiple.
What's going on in this area?
I don't know what they did. Oh. And when they caulked it, they had the bottom caulk, which is good, but you're also supposed to caulk up the side just a little bit. So they didn't have that. We're going to be doing that here as well. I think we're going to dry fit the door first, assuming it looks good, Evan. Then we're going to caulk the bottom and work on getting it all level and square, and that's the fun part. That's the part of it that takes a while. Okay, back to voicing over here, Evan. Working on installing the door here at this point. Got it lifted up in there, basically dry fitting it. And I don't know if I made this clear enough here, everyone. What I did along the bottom there, if you see that flex wrap, everyone, the flex wrap goes along the bottom, folds out and pushes around in the corners there, everyone. So you got a continuous, solid piece of material that flows through the corners, and it's impossible for anything to get through that, really, everyone. A really, really good seal. So as you can see, I went up about maybe a foot on either side there. I think it's supposed to be like 6 inches, but I went up a foot. Everyone, you know, hey, 6 inches good, go a foot, right? Even better yet. Anyway, working on reinstalling the door, everyone. When you reinstall it here, you want to make sure your hinge side is plumb and level. So you're going to see me working on that back and forth here with that level. Longer the level, the better, everyone, to be honest. I've only got a 4 foot. If I had a 6 foot, that'd be even better yet, everyone, but I've only got a 4 foot. So yes, just checking multiple times there. And then as I had mentioned in that clip here a moment ago, everyone, the original installation screws for the door, the long screws you're supposed to, I think they're probably for the hinges, I'm assuming, were still stapled to the top of the door, everyone. So when we took it out, we found them up there. So again, when you install the door, everyone, depending on the door, sometimes they'll leave 1 screw out of each hinge. I think every screw, or here. The hinge had all its screws in it, if I remember correctly, so you got to take 1 out of them. And then what you do is you take 1 screw out of every hinge. Make sure you put shims behind it, everyone, so when you put the screw in, it doesn't pull that door over one way or the other. And then you put 1 long screw to each hinge. That way each hinge is nice and solid. And that door is, again, nice and solid, right? And here we are working on plumbing up that side of the door as well. Again, making sure we put shims behind, or at least, everyone, if you're not getting it right behind, at least put it really close to it, right? So again, when you suck that screw in, you're not pulling or pushing that door frame in or out of alignment, right?
All right, so you guys can see we've got the shims in, working on making sure the gap between the door and the frame is nice and even the entire length of the door. So far up to the actual latch, it's looking pretty nice. So now shut the door, see what we got. A little bit loose up there.
A little too much.
Too many shims. And tighten the screw a bit. right, so
It's not bad.
a little bit
I'm gonna take a little, not quite that much, but
up at the top. It's a little bit, yeah.
go with that.
But hey, it's hanging way more straight than it used to. You gotta pull it out. You gotta undo the bottom latch.
No, it's too high. They had 2 holes in there. I went with the upper set of holes. Looks like I had to go with the lower set of holes.
Ah.
You notice that they had it mounted down here.
Why are there
I
two
mounted
sets of
it up
holes?
with where it actually lines up, but oh well.
So we're gonna have to ream out that wood a little bit.
I don't know if we have to or not. I don't. I mean, they didn't have to, so.
Yeah, but it also didn't hang right.
Well, that shouldn't affect this. We have to ream it out, but.
Well, our big problem was we couldn't lock the deadbolt if the door was shut all the way.
Right.
Oh, gonna actually screw through the
Screw through the
shims?
shims, yep. And nice and thick that way. It ain't going nowhere.
All right. Checking the gap. So still the same problem.
Well, yes, it's the same problem the back door has too. It can't have. I don't know why. Why do they have the second thing in here? So, like when you shut it all the way, now that doesn't line up. You let it to the first latch, then it's fine.
I don't know.
Which is looking pretty good.
But hey, they're the doorknobs we bought, so.
And it shuts nice. Look, there's no light coming through there anymore.
No, it's gorgeous.
There's light coming through there, of course, but we need to seal it from the outside of the. They had that too. They didn't have.
Yeah, they didn't have any kind of seal, anything. There was
they
just
had no seal
daylight.
here. There's daylight coming through here. But then there was also daylight coming through here. So we don't have that anymore.
And at the top, nice and even all the way across.
Yeah,
Because it
good.
used to be hanging
had it-
lopsided.
Well, because they had screws going up to the top. And they had a bunch of them too. I think there was 3 or 4 of them up there. I don't know why. Well, yeah, I think we're looking good.
I think it looks
What I
fabulous.
need to do yet is I need to put a couple screws through the hinges. I got one through that one. Let's see. I'll probably just do. Is that right there? I'll do the bottom one on that one.
Okay.
You want to try to go through shim when you do this if you can.
Holds the shims in place
Hold
and
shims in place and then it can't. Like when you tighten the screw down, it can't pull it.
so it maintains the exact gapping that you want.
Yep.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Look at that.
It even opens and closes easier than it used to.
To be honest, I think we're going to call that one good. Yeah, I think we're good.
Excellent. So what's the next step?
I need to caulk around the outside, then we need to put the siding back on. Yeah. And clean this horrendous mess we have out here. But first, let's go have lunch.
Yes.
We can just set it right on the, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Once it's taller, we can set it on that. Whew, okay, my face is getting a little warm.
Delicious. Cheers, dear. Okay, and we're back to work here after finishing up lunch and then watching the train go through. I know some of you folks probably maybe like seeing that train there, so that's why I included that clip. Again, that train tends to go through about once a week here. It services a local depot there for like fertilizer and basically a local co-op. I don't know if they haul grain out of there too. I'm not entirely sure what they all haul. I mean, usually only a couple of cars on it though at a time. And then, like I said, goes through about once a week there. Lately, I've been going through about once a week, usually in the evenings, somewhere around the 7 p.m. time frame. Anyway, back to the, like I said, work I've been worked on putting the flashing back on there, and then now also working on putting that screen door back on here as well. None of the windows in the front of this house have been open, so the screen door, it's kind of nice if you want to get some fresh air in the house. We can open up the front door, and then that screen door there allows some fresh air and works out pretty good. For those of you who see the brand new window a couple of videos back that we ended up putting in the front there, that window does not open either. We debated about getting a window that would open, everyone, but in the end, as you can see, we ended up not going that route. Anyway, here I am putting that insulation back on. Well, I call it insulation, everyone. The R1. Again, it is insulation, but that's really not its purpose, everyone. Its purpose is actually to float the siding. So if you have an uneven surface below the siding, which we don't actually really have that uneven of a surface down here at the moment. Up above it, though, with the old wood siding, it is, of course, very much uneven. But yeah, the new part down here probably, to be honest, really doesn't need it. But we're still going to put it back on anyway, just so it's pretty much kind of uniform down across there, right? So again, just trying to figure out where all the pieces I took off go and stick them back on. And then if I remember correctly, this is the spot of where we have a storm moving in, so I'm kind of trying to work somewhat quickly here. Not that I'm too worried about necessarily rain getting on any of the 7. It shouldn't really matter. I'm a little more worried about, the insulation I'm tacking on. I don't want that, like, blowing away or something like that, right? And next up, I went working on putting the siding back on it. Oh my goodness, was that a bit of a nightmare. A couple of things with this here. One, I really need more siding. However, when the local store requires you to buy a whole box of it. And as you'll see when we're done here, I really only need like, what? 1 or 2 pieces maybe. So, 1 or 2 pieces, that won't be that expensive. But if I got to buy, a whole box, a whole box is a few $100s. I don't know. I still gonna have to figure this out, everyone. At the time I'm recording this here, it still has not been figured out yet. I still got a blank spot underneath the door there where there's no siding, and then also we got the holes where the railing were as well. You can see the one up of about head level there where I am. See that one hole. So anyway, to put the siding back on, initially when I tried putting it back on 1 layer at a time and then working that layer back on, that just would prove to be too difficult, everyone. I didn't actually include that in the video here. What I ended up doing here, and hopefully you can see this, is I ended up putting all the pieces back on. Of course, they're not nailed down, everyone. I put them all back on until I got to the bottom layer, and then I was able to mark and nail that bottom layer on, and then I just worked my way back up, nailing them on. That means I only had to redo the top piece. So here you can see I'm taking them all back off again. So I've got the bottom piece figured out. I'm going to nail that on. And that's actually the J channel I'm putting on there if I remember correctly. So I'm nailing on the J channel. And then I'm just going to work my way back up here. Going to nail that piece on. And this, of course, if you're putting siding on, this is the way you're supposed to put it on. Work from the bottom up, right? However, if you have already existing siding, everyone, which we do in this case, you kind of have to work from, whatever level you're at back down. But that just proved to be too difficult with this siding, everyone. So, for those of you who have ever dealt with this siding before, oh my goodness, I've got one of those special little tools, for rehooking the siding. Again, for those of you who know how siding works, you hopefully kind of understand what I'm talking about there. But basically, each piece of siding, everyone, hooks on the previous piece, and then there's a special tool, so if you take it apart, you can either take it apart, or once you've got it apart, you can put it back together with that. But again, this particular siding, everyone, is wow, really hard to do that with. So I ended up putting it back on this way, and then, as you hopefully see, hopefully makes sense, I only had to redo the one piece as opposed to having to redo each layer, which was kind of how I was initially doing it, and oh my goodness, that was an absolute nightmare. So yeah, the top piece having the wife's holding, that's the piece I had to redo. Okay, well, this job is pretty much done. We need some finishing details in here yet. I'm not exactly sure what those finishing details are going to look like yet because I don't have any, siding to fill this gap in here. And unfortunately, to get this siding, you have to buy a whole box. And, well, yeah, I don't want to have to buy a whole box. I need, like, literally probably one piece would fill this in. Finished up here as well last night. I didn't bother recording doing this side here. It was going to rain, so I just hurry up, got it done. But yeah, overall didn't go too badly, and hopefully it makes sense. I think I explained this here earlier in the video, but in case I didn't, what I ended up doing, everyone, was actually taking all the pieces, hanging on them, each piece all the way down, not nailing them on, so I could get the bottom piece lined up. And once I had the bottom piece, I nailed the bottom piece on, worked my way back up to the last one here, and then once I had the last one, then I just had to rehook this one, everyone. So yeah, the stuff, everyone, the cedar, was it cedar shake siding or whatever? Of course, it's vinyl, everyone. But yeah, it's a real pain to rehook with that, even with the special 2 of them. It is not a fun job. So, oh well, we got it. We got it. Like I said, now I just need to figure out what to do with that, everyone. I'm not entirely sure yet. If anyone has any ideas, throw them down in the comments there. But oh yeah, that's a breath of relief. I've been having that all fixed up and hopefully taken care of, and yeah, hopefully we won't have to worry about that again. You can see definitely some dirt splashed up on there from the rain. Oh well. Anyway, thanks for watching. If any folks have any comments or questions, be sure to leave them down below. And, well, till the next project, everyone.